Yeah, y'all gonna stop coming in my live talking about this Victor dude, bro. We hooping this year. Y'all gonna see.
Alright team, we now have some more news regarding Giannis, and shout out to Evan for these posts and the inside sources because this is what we are going to be based off of today. So Evan said, got some Spurs news for y'all. Let's not get things twisted though. I have exact quotes and networking around the league with different teams and their media groups. I can assure y'all this NBA offseason is going to be insane, and he has a gif right here with Giannis insinuating that Giannis will be traded. And obviously we don't know who his sources are, but we are going to be taking his word for the sake of the video. And then he followed up by saying all the rumors that you heard last week regarding that the Spurs are on the search looking for a superstar talent are not only true, but the superstars themselves are the ones in fact hunting for the Spurs. Calls have been made. And then down here he just straight up says KD and Giannis. So both of those guys are looking for the Spurs, and the Spurs are looking for a superstar to pair next to Fox and Wemby. Now this is where it gets a little tricky because I know some people say, no, I don't want a superstar, I don't want Giannis or KD, and I can understand both sides. From one side being you want to add star power next to your generational talent to give us the best shot on winning early, but on the other hand you can see how previous super teams have failed and you end up like the Suns or the Bucks, and so you would rather keep the core that you have built and just add pieces like a Nas Reed to this core and just continue building like an ethical team would. Not saying there's anything wrong with adding these superstars, but just seeing what has happened to these other teams, you really have to be careful when trying to build a team like the Spurs are kind of eyeing right now. If this is true, I don't know exactly what the Spurs' thoughts are. I don't think any of us know if they want to go after or how hard they want to pursue these stars, but it's definitely something that can get tricky, and so you have to be very careful. Right now, my thoughts are I want to just keep the same team and add a Nas Reed. That would probably be my dream scenario, but you can't decline Giannis, and especially if he says I want to go to San Antonio, or Kevin Durant say I want to go to San Antonio specifically, like De'Aaron Fox did, and he kind of forced his way over here, and he made it cheaper for the Spurs to acquire him, along with if you get a third team in there, you could kind of soften the blow and not give up a haul like a Rudy Gobert 5 first-round picks, or like a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander package with the Clippers sent to OKC, because if it's going to cost something like that, I say you just keep this team and make small pickups like a Nas Reed, but if he falls into your lap like De'Aaron Fox, you got to take it. You know what I mean? And so I'm not too sure what the package the Bucks and Spurs would be eyeing, but if more details do come out on this, I will be making a video. And so he says Giannis is 100% gone. Milwaukee would rather trade him to the Western Conference. He's made a short list. All I know is Houston and San Antonio are on those lists with 1 to 2 other teams in the East. So Giannis, if he's going to have like 4 teams on the list, I don't think the Spurs should pursue him because they are going to have teams throw massive packages out, and I'd rather the Rockets overpay for Giannis, or not really overpay, but I'd rather them give the bigger package than the Spurs try to outbid someone and end up putting themselves in a hole. Having more teams in conversations is going to cost the Spurs more assets. But going back to this tweet right here, this is why I brought this up. Superstars themselves are the ones in fact hunting the Spurs. And so this isn't limited to only superstars. This is why I could think like maybe a Nas Reed could be possible. That, like I said, that's probably my dream scenario. Then you have a shooting power forward who could space the floor out and still provide size, which those are 2 of the things that we need, shooting and size. And so Nas Reed would kind of be 2 birds in 1 stone. I'm just curious to see if he is actually interested in the Spurs because he's still in the playoffs right now. I'm sure he's not focused on that, but he's going to opt out of his contract and he's going to want a little bit more money, and I'm willing to do that if I'm the San Antonio Spurs. I just don't know if Nas Reed will rather stay in Minnesota. And like I said, all of these are from Evan's trusted sources. When you're talking about these things, you don't really know like if things are for certain, so we're trusting that his sources are actually valid because he seems like he knows what he is talking about. And so he says right here, your 2025 Rookie of the Year isn't going anywhere. Steph is a non-conversational starter. He's off limits under any circumstance. So this means that the Spurs agree with us when saying that we should not trade Stephon Castle. I don't think the Spurs would ever trade Stephon Castle, even if it isn't a package for Giannis. And it's not saying that Castle's going to be better than Giannis. I think trading Steph right now would just go against the whole Spurs ideology. When you have a young and up-and-coming star like Steph Castle, you really want to hold on to him because it could possibly be like a Shea situation where they send him to OKC and he blossoms into this superstar that nobody expected. So in my opinion, it would be a safer bet to keep Stephon Castle instead of trading for Giannis. And I know that sounds crazy saying it out loud, but keeping your homegrown talent, trying to hone in on the camaraderie and chemistry that they've already built, him and Wemby, Area 51. We know De'Aaron Fox wanted Stephon Castle here. That's a part of the reason why De'Aaron Fox wanted to come here, and he said that publicly. And so I don't think shipping off Steph Castle is smart right now. I think that would be a step in the direction of kind of doing what the Suns are doing whenever they sent DeAndre Ayton out and sent Chris Paul out and brought in superstars. And I don't think that's the Spurs way. And so I don't think this is going down. I think Evan is completely correct right here. And he got this from a trusted source inside the Spurs. And that kind of lines up with their whole thinking. So if the Spurs were to trade for Giannis, it would have to be without Stephon Castle. That's just my thoughts. I don't think the Spurs are going to trade him, nor do I want the Spurs to trade him, even if it is in a package for Giannis. Devin Vassell, I'd be okay with that. Keldon Johnson, I would be cool with that too. But I mean, at that point, I kind of want to see what the Spurs could do if they bring in someone like Naz Reid with the whole core. I don't think the Spurs are necessarily hunting for a superstar. Like, they don't need it right now. If you ask me, the Spurs already have plenty of superstar talent. You have De'Aaron Fox, who's a All-NBA caliber player, along with Victor Wembanyama, the alien. He could be in MVP conversations as soon as next season. And so it's not imperative that you go out and get another superstar right now. But like I said, if they fall in your lap, then what can you do? You just got to take Giannis. I mean, we're not complaining about it, but you don't want to go out of your way and put yourself in a bad position reaching for a superstar. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what y'all guys think. This post really makes me happy and comforts me a little knowing that the Spurs know what they have in Stephon Castle. But leave y'all's thoughts down below. As always, be sure to subscribe. It's been your boy Chris, and I will catch y'all later. I'm out.